Hi everybody, everything okay? Today our class will be working with review. As we are going to the end of the material, to the end of the book, I decided to work and to point out some details for you before you do the activity that is on page for you there on page 98. So in order to do this activity that is on page 98, I'm going to point some details, some grammar details, and the topics will be those. So we're going to work with prepositions and verbs that indicate movement. Okay, guys? So this will be our first reviewing topic. We're also going to take a look at phrasal verbs because there is a big range of phrasal verbs. So I'm just going to point some details for you. After that, we're going to see that use of so and neither, because I know some people still have difficulty how to use so, how to use neither. We also have some idea about the past perfect. And finally, our last topic, that is reported speech. Okay? So we are going to see very clearly in details all these topics. And then the activity will be available for you on page 98, or if you don't have the material, it will be in our platform for you to do that. So let's start carefully, and I'm going to talk to you about the first topic, prepositions of movement. Of course, guys, we can't be here talking about all those prepositions, all the ideas we saw. So I'm going to think of the most important ones. Verbs of movement. Let's think about some verbs that might be used. So you can have walk, you may have drive, we may have run, we may have swim, okay? Only for examples. Imagine that you are walking. Where can you walk? You can walk along the street. Yeah? Remember, when you walk along the street, you go along the street. That's the idea. But you can also walk across the street. What is the idea when you walk across the street? If you walk across the street, you are doing this movement here, walking across from one side to the other. Of course, there are other prepositions that may be used with the same verb. I have here only two examples. Drive. Drive is a verb of movement. So where can you drive? You can drive under the bridge. Yes. Of course, then somebody might ask me, but teacher, bridge, you have a river. How can the car go under the bridge? Of course, imagining that that bridge is with a road. So the road is down the bridge. You are going to walk or to drive under the bridge. You can also drive into the garage. Yes, because you're going to give the movement into. And then I have some observation here for you related to this. Driving to or just driving. Nowadays, we are listening to a lot of people saying, oh, let's have a drive-in cinema. A drive-in cinema is a static movement idea. So you're not moving. You're just there in the car doing the activity. When you drive into the garage, you make the movement inside. That's the difference. Where can you run? Let me give you an example of a preposition only. Run towards the lake. So towards give the idea of in direction to. You run in direction to the lake. That's the idea here. And finally, where can you swim? Just an example, you can swim around the pool. So you go around the pool. That's the movement it has. Of course, guys, there are other prepositions of movement. The most important is, don't forget to link prepositions of movement with verbs that indicate movement. If you still have some doubts, if you still have any kind of problems with those prepositions, I recommend you take a quick look again on page 162, or go back in our classes when we talked more about expressing movement prepositions. This will be essential for you to understand all this idea. That's it? No problems? Can we move to the second topic? Because our second topic is quite the same. We continue talking about prepositions, but now we are going to match the prepositions because we have phrasal verbs. And of course, I'm not going to stay here hours and hours talking to you about all the phrasal verbs. The point I want to focus with you is how to use the phrasal verbs and the three kinds of phrasal verbs we have. We have the phrasal verb that doesn't need object. You don't have an object. So, for example, look out. When you look out, you look out. You don't need a complement. So that's why you don't need an object. The second kind of phrasal verb is the one that needs object, but can't be separable, non-separable. It needs object, but it's non-separable. For example, I can give you the phrasal verb, look for. Because when you look for something or you look for somebody. So look for your keys. Yes? Simple. And the third kind of phrasal verb is the one that needs object, but can be separated. Okay? It can be separated. For example, look up. You can look up the words, or you can look the words up. Both are possible. And then just an observation for you guys. When you transform the noun into a pronoun, look them up. The pronoun must come in the middle between the verb and the phrasal verb and the preposition. Yes? So that's the main idea. And of course, if you still have any problems about phrasal verbs, your book on page 163, there are more details there. Yes? So that's the point we should pay attention about phrasal verbs. Do you like pizza? Yes, I like pizza. So how do you agree with that? You are going to say that you also like pizza. So you have to say so, simple present, pronoun, pronoun. Easy like that. Just another verb tense. She didn't travel. Negative. If you have negative, you cannot use so. You have to use neither. If you have simple past, go to the simple past. And pronoun is the same. So that's the structure to agree with something that somebody said. Just one more example. I've been to France. How do you agree with that? So have I. So why do I use do here and I use have here? Because here you have simple present. Here you have present perfect. Present perfect auxiliary have. Imagine you were talking about a third person. You had to say, so has my sister, for example. That's the idea for the third person. Okay, guys? Agreeing, use so for the affirmative, and neither you agree in the negative. Be careful not to confuse. Agree is one thing, disagree is another thing. So let's disagree. I like pizza. I would disagree saying I don't. She didn't travel. I would disagree saying I did. I've been to France. I disagree saying I haven't. And this is the way you agree or disagree. Perfect? Can I erase that? Let's go to the other topic. And our next topic is something that's very simple because we have the past perfect. When can I use past perfect? When I talk about something that is past before another past action. Take a look at this example. When my student arrived, I had already finished the explanation. So what you have here, guys? Two actions in the past. My student arrived. Okay. I finished the explanation. Okay. Both are in the past. Which action happened first? The action that happened first was this one. Because I finished the explanation before my student arrived. So that's the idea. The action that happened first should be in the past perfect. The action that happened second should be in the simple past. And the structure of past perfect is always had plus participle, right? Remember in our previous video I said, when Brazil won the World Cup, Senna had died. Because Senna died before Brazil won the World Cup in 1994. So this is the idea of past perfect. And to finish our review, we have a very nice topic, and it's very recent actually, because you still get that in mind. It's still fresh for you. That is the reported speech. So what is the idea of reported speech? Imagine I'm going to say, Mark said, I want to go to the beach. So imagine I'm going to report what Mark said. So I have to use Mark said. Remember guys, that is optional, so you don't need to put that if you don't feel comfortable or if you don't want. He, and then you have the point. If the verb is in the present, you always go back one tense. Mark said that he wanted to go to the beach. Another verb you could use here, Mark told, but when you tell, you always tell somebody. Mark told me that he wanted to go. Okay? So what is the main idea of reported speech? Go back one tense. This is what we have to pay attention, guys. No problem so far? And then, in your review, going back there, our grammar topics, you will have some activity related to vocabulary as well. The activity related to vocabulary is much more memorization, study, and practice of the ideas related to vocabulary. Okay? So take a look. To finish, you have there on page, just a second, page 98, the vocabulary activity related to the phrasal verbs.